Hello YouTube. I'm gonna start this off with kind of a long-ish intro. Not usually into big long intros, but I feel like this one deserves one. So this is kind of going to be a reintroduction to the channel. When I first started this channel, I had a couple of things I wanted to do, and to some degree I've done them, and to others I haven't yet. But that's okay. I'll continue to work on it. But throughout the process, a few things became apparent to me. One was that initially I had started the channel with this truck behind me, my GMC Syclone, being the focal point of the channel. And if you watch my videos, you may have even seen on the front of my toolbox that my original channel name was going to have to do with Syclone. And at the advice of some of my friends, I changed my mind on that and went with the name Tinker and Torque. I think it, I think it was good advice. That's why I took it, and now I really think it's good advice. And the reason why that's important is this channel tomorrow might be making a major change. So I'm filming this today to let you know. But before I get into that, I want to talk about a few things that this channel is and what it isn't. I'm not a professional mechanic. I'm not seeking to become a professional mechanic. I'm not, out there in my community doing oil changes for people or anything. I have a completely different set of skills that I use to take care of my family and everything and all that stuff. So, this channel is therapeutic for me. I'm a wartime veteran. I have all the luxuries and appointments that come with that. And those of you who are veterans out there, you know what I'm talking about. This has helped ground me. It gives me something to focus on and something to do so that I can find the center. Even if no one watched these videos and no one subscribed and no one ever clicked like or commented or did anything, continuing to make these is my therapy. This is something that has allowed me to connect with my daughter, which those of you who have teenage sons and daughters out there, you know what I'm talking about. It can be tough to connect with them. It gives me a venue where I can do that, but also where I am doing something that I'm comfortable doing, something that keeps me engaged and focused, and doesn't allow me to go to places where my mind sometimes like to go to. So if you understand what I'm talking about, you understand what I'm talking about. If you don't, that's okay too. I'm going to produce content where I work on cars and I'll talk about stuff, and if you get some instruction or useful advice out of this, that's cool. I mean, that's one of the things I'm trying to do. But the thing that I found is the biggest thing for me is this is an outlet. This is a way for me to connect with myself. This is a way for me to connect with my daughter. This is a way for me to figure out my path. And so, for those of you who are coming along on the journey with me, thank you. And if that's, unappealing to you, that's fine too, but I'm not going to change who I am or what I'm doing. No one has suggested that I do. I'm not saying that. This isn't coming as a result of any of that. This is just my own introspection and my own looking at the channel and seeing what I've done and why it means so much to me, because it does. I realized immediately once I started making these videos that it meant a lot to me, even without getting any viral videos. I don't have millions of followers. I don't have thousands of followers. I don't have hundreds of followers at this point. That's okay. This is for them. So, that's cool. If you find your way here and this helps you, or this, does whatever, reach out, comment. I'm here for you. If you have similar struggles, reach out to me. It doesn't have to be through YouTube, whatever. And if you need help, you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. And if you're in my local area and you want to come, sit down, talk with me, change the oil on something, do some welding, whatever, hit me up. It's fine. I'm here unless I get millions of requests, but the odds of that in the near term at least are slim to none. So go ahead, I'm here. Now, on to the other point, and the reason why I'm sitting here in front of the Syclone and telling you that, the channel's about to change tomorrow. Um, Tomorrow I'm going to go meet someone who has a vehicle that is something that I've wanted for pretty much as long as I can remember. Actually, one of them when I got the Syclone, but I had a hard time tracking one down that was in the condition that I wanted at a price point that I was willing to pay, yada yada, on and all those things. So I got to talking with my wife, and I told her, like, I've got this truck pretty sorted at this point. I've done all the work. When I got it, it needed a full ignition system redone. I did that. It was, smoking a bit. The valve stem seals were original. I pulled the top end apart and replaced those. And went through and did all the other work that goes along with that besides machining. I didn't do any machining on the head. Everything looked really good. Still has all that the original markings and inside. Everything looks great. It's beautiful and clean. I upgraded the fuel pump. I ran the hot wire from the alternator to the fuel pump so it doesn't lose fuel pressure. I put a aftermarket fuel pressure regulator so that it can be upgraded. I replaced the fuel injectors. I've done all the services and flushed the transmission. I've flushed the differentials and the transfer case and everything. I've gone through all the parts of this. I replaced the body mounts with polyurethane. I've done all the stuff that this truck had been neglected of, or it was just in need of because of its age. And now I was telling my wife, I'm like, it has small things. Like, it's got a rear main seal. You call it a leak. It weeps. Yeah, I wouldn't call it. It's nothing major. I mean, we're talking about. It doesn't need a quart between oil changes. It doesn't need a quarter of a quart between oil changes, but it leaves little drops on the floor, and that's coming from the rear main. And that's pretty common with these older GM vehicles. To fix that, I'd have to pull the transmission, transfer case, both drive lines, or I have to pull the whole drive train out, basically, aside from the engine, to get that out. And that's a lot of work. And then there's other big things, that I'd like to do. So I was asking myself and talking with my wife about, is this something that I want to do to this truck? Is this my Eleanor? Is this my magnum opus, right? Is this the thing that I want to define me? Because to me, cars are that. They're self-expression. Is this the vehicle that expresses me? I wasn't sure. So I asked my wife to put it out on Facebook Marketplace for me with a price that I thought was fair, on the upper end of fair maybe, but fair, but that I would entertain trades. And I got some interesting, I have a few full price offers on it, almost immediately, but that wasn't really what I was looking for. Somebody offered me a Hummer H1. That was pretty interesting. I don't want a Hummer H1. That's a lot of vehicle for this. I mean, it's just going from the smallest truck ever to the biggest SUV ever, so that'd be quite the change. But I wasn't interested in that. But somebody reached out to me, and this person had a 1987, or has a 1987 Buick Grand National. They say it's in condition similar to my Syclone. Mileage is a bit weird on it. It came from Canada. There was some transcription issues with the changeover from kilometers to miles when it was brought over to the States. That resulted in several inconsistencies going through emissions in various stages of its life. But it went from what I could tell anyway from the Carfax and auto check and stuff, it went from Canada, and then was brought down to Puyallup, Washington, and has been a Western Washington car its whole life since about 2000, 2001. Before that, it was up in Canada. Obviously, I'm going to look at it for rust and stuff, because Canada. But that's not the point. The point is that is something I've wanted my entire life. I mean, it couldn't have been my entire life. I was born before 1987 and before the Grand National came out. So, but for as long as I can remember being into cars, I can remember being into turbo Buicks. Like, turbos and supercharged vehicles are just something that I'm really into. Is aside from my Corrado that sits over here, and that's just a whole different thing. And I can tell that story some other time. But so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go look at this vehicle tomorrow, and I'm gonna do my best to record that transaction as much as possible. But from talking with the person I'm going to go look at who has the Grand National that they would like to trade for this truck, this is theirs. Like, this is their Eleanor. This is their unicorn, right? This is the vehicle that they've been tracking down for 20 years, and every time they go to get one, it is gone already, or it's not in the advertised condition, or it has some other plethora of issues. And I get that. I 100% get that. It can be really difficult to track down that one thing, and especially when you're looking for one that's driver quality, because I don't want a garage queen. None of my vehicles are garage queens. I drive them all. And it's because I buy them to enjoy them. I don't buy them for their monetary value. I'm not a car flipper. I'm not a collector. I am an enthusiast, and I love cars, and I love driving them. If I just wanted things for monetary value, yes, you can find any number of these vehicles with 5 to 10,000 miles, spend 60, 70, 80 grand on them, and have it here, keep it under a car cover, load it onto a trailer, and take it to car shows. That's not what I'm about. I drive my vehicles, take it to Cars and Coffee. I drive to car shows. I sit there and I polish it right there on site, and I sit there in my folding chair and talk to people about cars all day. And I don't care if I win a trophy. I've won one, but I don't care about it. Matter of fact, I didn't win it. The truck did. I didn't do any of the work. The point is I connect with them, and it gives me something that it just focuses me on a thing that is non-destructive. It's a constructive outlet for my energies. And so tomorrow I'm gonna go look at that vehicle. I don't know if my wife's going with me or who's going with me, but I'm gonna go look at that vehicle, and if things go the way I hope they go, I will be signing a bill of sale for this and handing over the title, and taking a bill of sale and a title for a Grand National and driving that home. So regardless of how you feel about it, I know this is more rare. I know for some of you, you might think I'm insane. For others of you, you think I'd be insane not doing it. So, and some of you think I should have a Volkswagen Beetle probably. Any of those is fine. Those are your opinions, and this is, all cars are welcome in my garage. I don't care. I really don't. If you're passionate about it, if you like it, if it's what interests you, that's great. It interests me then too. Tell me about it. But for me, this is the pinnacle of cars. I'd rather have this than any Ferrari or Lamborghini you could come up with, any McLaren P1, whatever. I know those are worth more money, but for me, they're not what gets me. So I'm gonna go look at this tomorrow. Wish me luck. The next part of this video may be probably me looking at it, and then maybe hopefully driving it home. So my prediction, I don't have one. I can't know what the condition of this vehicle is going to be. I hope it's what the guy said it is. So if not, we'll go from there. But yeah, wish me luck. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this wasn't too much for you. It was a lot for me, but I only have 27 subscribers or something at this point, so most of them I know personally. So there you guys go. Now you know. exhaust gauge works, the oil pressure gauge works, the water temp works, fuel gauge works, the RPM gauge has a here's your max RPM setter thing and also works. I don't know about the rear defog or any of that. It might works. It's got some squeaks, but it's old Buick. The hood is concerning with as much flappy do as it's got going on, but I guess I'd have to address that. I'd have to address the they said all the heat and AC and everything works, but by all means check it out. Trust but verify.
Yeah. That's AC right now.
Brakes seem to be functional. It's pretty okay with me. And what do you think? You think it's worth a trade?
Um,
All right, YouTube, we did it. Here I am, back with the Grand National. First thing that's probably gonna go is this GNX plate. I know the guy I got it from. He's a really good guy too, like really great, really honest. But it's not a GNX. I've already gotten asked by several people about my GNX. And I don't have one. I have Grand National 87. So I take that off. I get something more appropriate for the front so that people don't think I'm trying to be a poser. But this is it. Stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe over the next, I don't know how long. Could be 2 years, 3 years, 5, I'm not sure. Car needs a bunch of work, but I'm up for it. This channel's up for it. I hope you're up for it. I'm gonna turn the wrenches. I'm gonna fire up the welder. I'm gonna get all the work done on this car. Ultimately, I wanna get it back to as close to 100% as I can. Probably even maybe get it repainted. Get it really nice driver. I mean, by all accounts, it's got some mileage on it. We can go over the paperwork later and show you, you know, what that reads like and what I'm thinking is the numbers. It's kind of weird because the car came from Canada and that was converted from kilometers to miles, and that makes things weird. But this isn't my first foray into buying a Canadian car that was converted to miles. My Corrado over there, it's the same way. So we will decode the paperwork that we have and try to come up with our best estimate. Ultimately, I don't care. It runs and drives great. It needs some work. That's great. Gives me something to do. So, like I said before, like, comment, subscribe, comment, tell me what you think. Next video will be a full walk around of this. I'm gonna point out the things that I noticed. It's gonna be both for my record and so you can see what I'm getting myself into here. And let's get going. I'm excited. This is gonna be awesome.